The whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati.
He chose healing over hate. And he chose to tell the truth so that others could understand him better. In many ways, these experiences shaped the man he is today, quieter, wiser, and more reflective. Instead of chasing fame, he now chases peace. Instead of worrying about Hollywood politics, he focuses on art and kindness. For Carrey, these 6 painful chapters did not break him. They transformed him. When Jim Carrey finally opened up about these experiences, many fans were surprised because he had always seemed full of positive energy, humor, and joy. But he explained that he never wanted to talk about these moments earlier because he did not want to add more negativity to the world. He did not want fans to see Hollywood as a hateful place, even though he experienced some painful realities behind closed doors. Instead, he wanted to protect the magic of movies, the joy of laughter, and the happiness that his performances brought to people. Yet, as he grew older and began stepping back from acting, he felt it was time to tell the truth, not to hurt anyone, but to help people understand him better. He wanted audiences to see the difference between the characters he played and the real man behind them. Carrey said that the thing that disappointed him most was not the individual actions themselves, but the culture that allowed those actions to happen. He talked about how Hollywood often rewards the loudest voices, the strongest egos, and the most dramatic personalities. It rewards the people who pretend to be perfect, even when they are not. And it sometimes punishes those who choose to speak honestly or show vulnerability. Carrey spent years watching actors pretend to be close friends at award shows, then speak badly about each other afterward. He watched people treat fame as a competition instead of an art form. He watched kindness become rare and authenticity become hard to find. These 6 conflicts, each painful in its own way, were only parts of a much larger picture of an industry that often values appearance more than truth. Carrey spoke about Tommy Lee Jones as an example of insecurity hidden behind professionalism. He said that sometimes people who appear serious or respected feel threatened by someone who expresses themselves differently. Jones disliked Carrey's improvisational style, but instead of communicating calmly, he let his frustration turn into hostility. Carrey said that the experience taught him that even the people you admire can disappoint you when their ego gets in the way. He no longer sees that moment with anger, he sees it as a lesson about human nature and the importance of emotional maturity. When he talked about Shia LaBeouf, Carrey explained that he understood Shia was going through personal struggles and stress at the time. But Carrey believed that pain should never be used as an excuse to hurt someone else's family. The moment Shia dragged his daughter into a public argument was the moment Carrey decided he would keep a permanent distance. It wasn't about holding a grudge, it was about drawing a boundary. He said that protecting loved ones is more important than protecting one's own reputation. Carrey spoke about Jenny McCarthy with a mixture of sadness and acceptance. He said he never hated her, but he could not forget how deeply he was pulled into something he never intended to be part of. He talked about how relationships can sometimes blur the line between supporting someone and losing yourself. He said the experience taught him the importance of staying true to his own beliefs and not letting anyone else shape his identity. He does not regret loving her, but he regrets how much he lost himself during that time. When he spoke about Mark Wahlberg, Carrey explained that he did not hold anger toward him. He simply saw Wahlberg's comment as an example of someone trying to appear strong by criticizing someone else. Carrey said that people often attack others publicly not because they are confident, but because they feel insecure and want to protect their reputation. He said that Wahlberg's words hurt at the time, but now they feel like a small moment in a long career. The Kardashians represented something different for Carrey. He said they were not bad people, but they symbolized a shift in Hollywood, a shift away from talent, creativity, and contribution toward popularity, branding, and influence. He said that watching them being celebrated as icons made him feel like the industry he loved was disappearing. It wasn't personal. It was about what they represented in a changing world. The situation with Will Smith, however, shook Carrey the most. Not because of the slap itself, but because of how Hollywood reacted to it. He said it showed that the industry often chooses image over integrity. It showed that people were willing to applaud someone moments after he committed an act of violence simply because he was famous. Carrey said that the standing ovation was the moment he realized Hollywood had become a place where people cared more about looking good than doing good. He said that the moment made him lose faith in the industry, but it also freed him. It helped him make peace with his decision to step away from acting and choose a quieter life focused on painting, writing, and self-reflection. As Jim Carrey looked back on these 6 painful experiences, he said that each of them shaped him, taught him, and prepared him for the next stage of his life. He said he does not want people to see this list as a sign of hatred, but as a sign of growth. These people hurt him, yes, but they also pushed him to understand himself better. They pushed him to see what truly mattered: kindness, truth, peace, and creativity. They pushed him to build a life outside the expectations of Hollywood. Today, Jim Carrey says he feels more free than ever. He no longer worries about fame, criticism, or public opinion. He no longer chases roles or recognition. He focuses on the simple things: painting, meditating, spending time with people who genuinely care about him, and creating art that makes him happy. He said that letting go of the pain from these 6 actors allowed him to finally find peace. He sees his journey not as a story of conflict, but as a story of healing. And now, after hearing the truth behind these 6 unforgettable Hollywood moments, viewers are left with big questions. Which story surprised you the most? Which moment changed your view of Hollywood? And do you believe any of these 6 people deserve a second chance in Jim Carrey's eyes? Share your thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because there are many more hidden Hollywood stories waiting to be uncovered. The 5th story Carrey shared involved a group rather than a single actor: the Kardashians, a family known more for fame and influence than traditional acting skills. Carrey never had a personal fight with them, but they still ended up on his blacklist because of what they represented to him about the changing nature of Hollywood. The moment that pushed him over the edge happened in 2017 at a fashion event hosted by Harper's Bazaar, where celebrities, influencers, and models were being treated as icons of the night. Carrey was asked by a reporter what brought him to the event, and his answer, which shocked the reporter, came straight from his frustration. He said he did not believe in the idea of icons anymore because it had become a shallow word used to describe anyone who had followers rather than talent. The Kardashians were standing nearby, surrounded by photographers and screaming fans, and to Carrey, it felt like the world was celebrating fame without achievement. He later said that watching people crowd around reality TV stars while ignoring artists who spent years mastering their craft made him feel like he was living in The Truman Show again, a world where everything fake was treated as real. 1 year later, he repeated similar thoughts in an interview, saying that the Kardashian phenomenon was not healthy because it promoted empty fame instead of creativity. He didn't attack them personally, but he shut the door on everything they represented. The 6th and final name Jim Carrey revealed was Will Smith, and the incident that changed everything happened in one of the most widely watched live broadcasts in history, the Oscars. When Will Smith walked onto the stage and slapped comedian Chris Rock across the face, the world stood still. Carrey wasn't shocked by the slap itself. He understood that people sometimes lose control under pressure. What shocked him was the reaction of Hollywood. Instead of removing Smith from the event or holding him accountable, the audience gave him a standing ovation minutes later when he won his award. Carrey later said that moment made him feel sick because it showed a Hollywood that cared more about protecting its image and its stars than about doing what was right. He said it was the clearest sign that Hollywood had lost its cool. Behind the scenes, some actors even defended Smith, calling his actions protective. Carrey disagreed. He pointed out that if a normal person had behaved like that, they would have been escorted out immediately. When he said publicly that he would have sued Smith for $200 million if he had been in Chris Rock's place, the statement shook the industry. Carrey wasn't angry at Smith alone. He was angry at an industry that pretended to be morally strong but acted differently when a famous face was involved. After sharing the stories behind these 6 names, Tommy Lee Jones, Shia LaBeouf, Jenny McCarthy, Mark Wahlberg, the Kardashians, and Will Smith, Carrey explained why they stayed with him for so long. Fame can open doors, create smiles, and bring joy, but it can also expose someone to jealousy, anger, backstabbing, and moments of deep emotional hurt. Carrey said that these experiences didn't make him bitter. Instead, they taught him the kind of strength he needed to survive in an industry where kindness is not always rewarded. He learned that people who appear confident may be insecure, people who appear friendly may hold resentment, and people who appear powerful can act weak when their image is threatened. He learned that the world often applauds the wrong things, loud personalities, fake confidence, or popularity without substance, while quietly ignoring the people who pour their hearts into their craft. Carrey's views on Hollywood changed over time. In his early years, he believed talent and creativity were the heart of the industry. But as he grew older, he saw how much power was tied to public opinion, gossip, and politics. He saw actors publicly pretend to support each other, then criticize each other secretly. He saw media twist stories to shape narratives that were far from the truth. He saw how some people used scandals as tools to push others down or lift themselves up. Each of the 6 stories he shared was tied to a moment when someone used their influence, ego, or frustration to hurt him. And because Carrey has always been open-hearted, these moments left deeper marks than many people realized. But the transcript of his revelations is not just about who hurt him. It is also about why he chose to walk away from Hollywood. After decades of performing, Carrey began to feel that the world inside the industry had drifted too far from honesty. He felt that movies were becoming less about art and more about marketing. He felt that celebrities were becoming symbols rather than humans. He felt that the pressure to appear perfect created a culture where real emotions were often ignored or mocked. For someone like Carrey, who built his entire career on authentic emotion and fearless expression, this world no longer felt like home. Carrey wants people to understand that his decision to speak about these painful moments was not about revenge. He was not trying to expose anyone or damage anyone's image. Instead, he was trying to show that even people who seem happy and confident can carry deep wounds. He wanted to remind audiences that fame does not protect someone from being hurt. In fact, it sometimes makes the hurt even sharper because it happens under the spotlight. He wanted people to see that behind every performance, behind every interview, behind every smile, there is a real human being with real feelings. As Carrey shared these stories, he also shared the wisdom he gained from them. He said that forgiveness is important, but it is also important to protect one's heart. He forgave these people for what they did, but he chose not to let them back into his life. He chose peace over bitterness. He chose healing over hate. And he chose to tell the truth so that others could understand him better. In many ways, these experiences shaped the man he is today, quieter, wiser, and more reflective. Instead of chasing fame, he now chases peace. Instead of worrying about Hollywood politics, he focuses on art and kindness. For Carrey, these 6 painful chapters did not break him. They transformed him. When Jim Carrey finally opened up about these experiences, many fans were surprised because he had always seemed full of positive energy, humor, and joy. But he explained that he never wanted to talk about these moments earlier because he did not want to add more negativity to the world. He did not want fans to see Hollywood as a hateful place, even though he experienced some painful realities behind closed doors. Instead, he wanted to protect the magic of movies, the joy of laughter, and the happiness that his performances brought to people. Yet, as he grew older and began stepping back from acting, he felt it was time to tell the truth, not to hurt anyone,